This is Tiny Epic Vikings, the newest game in the Tiny Epic line from Gamelin Games, and this is Tiny Epic Vikings Ragnarok, the expansion. So let's take a look at what's inside. Welcome back to the Meeple Marathon. Today we are taking a look at Tiny Epic Vikings, the newest Tiny Epic game by Gamelin Games. This is the Deluxe edition, which only means it contains the mini expansion Shamans. We also have Ragnarok here, but all the components that you see in here will come in the retail edition if that's the one you pick up. So let's go ahead and get started here. So as per the norm, they have decorated the inside of their box quite nicely. This makes an excellent dice tray. However, I don't think there is any dice in the game. Yeah, I don't think so. So, Tiny Epic Vikings is an area control game for the most part, where there's going to be a lot of back and forth, taking control of islands which have these runes, as well as gaining these cards which have runes on them, all in the name of hopefully having the most runes of the god that is most pissed off. It's the easiest way I can put it, but this looks like a pretty standard rule book. You know, it's slightly small print, but they are fitting a lot in here into a pretty small rule book, so it fits into the box. There is, of course, a two-player variant and a solo variant. So the two-player variant, just there's a simulated kind of dummy player to go up against, and then the solo rules is exactly what you would come to expect from Scott Alms and Gamelin Games. So there we go. We got a whole lot of meeples and wooden pieces here. So let's take a look at some of this stuff more closely. So this is going to be your first player marker and or the chieftain boat when you're playing solo mode. These are going to be little villages that are already on the map. You can raid them and then use them to gain certain things. Everybody's going to get boats and little Vikings in their player color here, and these temples that you can establish on islands which help you have the maximum amount of influence. And then there's these runes. I think there's 6 of these, 2 of each type. We're missing, here's the other one. So there's 3 types of runes, 1 for each of the 3 types of gods, and you're hoping to have the most runes of the god that has been most angered by the end of the game. So, and you're going to be trading these tokens back and forth, but then you'll see there's also rune symbols like that. This is like a resource marker, so that would be probably stone or metal or ore or iron, I think. Yeah, iron. I think it's called iron. So that is most of these. I think like this bad boy right here is the round marker. And I think everything else in here is just a repeat of everything in that color. These, this is all in a bag by itself, it looks like. This is going to be the Shaman Expansion. So we're going to set that aside and take a look at that here in a minute. These are the favor cards. So anytime you go into battle, if you initiate the battle, you get to pick which of these cards you are fighting for, but then anybody can enter the battle, and you kind of enter a battle with your card face down, so nobody quite knows what the strength is, and then everybody flips. The battle system in this game feels very much like a little bit like Scythe, even though there's no dial or anything else you can really add at will. You simply are playing a card down, but you do get stuff if you are unsuccessful, but for the most part you're going to get one of these cards, and this is a permanent rune that you then have towards endgame scoring. Hopefully it's the right rune You also will then play this card face down, which you can peek at, but unless people kind of remember all the favorite cards that you've won, they can't keep as good a track of it. All right, we have some player cards here, and this is the bulk of the game, is these cards and how you go about playing them. I'm trying to find if there's one of those little things. All right, we got it. So these are all the Viking cards. There's going to be a draft system at the beginning of each round, and then you're going to have these cards, and you're going to decide which one of them you're going to play. Now, they are somewhat multi-use cards, but for the most part, you're going to play one down, and you're going to get to take this action. And if you have the accumulated runes that equal this action at the bottom, that's a bonus action that you can also take. Now, in this instance, you'd have to have 3 F runes. Well, not only do you get to count, say, this rune, if you had it in your possession, you may lose it, but any other Viking card that you may have played prior, plus the one that you just played, also counts. So, as you're playing the Viking cards out, you're going to kind of line them up like this, so that you can keep track of the runes, and they may help you fire off. So you probably would want to save Liv here, because she requires 4 ends, which is a lot, just to be able to move a temple, which is a pretty big action. Also, you can see here that, say for example, she gets 5 strength plus 1 for every F rune you have. So if you've built up and establish yourself as having a lot of F runes, she becomes more powerful. Then there's other people here, like you have to pay this guy iron to be able to have him fight. He's got a really high number, but if you don't have 2 iron, then he's not doing anything. So either one of these can either be played as the action, and then hopefully the bonus action, maybe, maybe not, or you can play it face down and say, all right, I'm going into battle. If you're the first one to do it, you get to pick that favor card, and then everyone else can go in. If not, there is a system set up for fighting like an unknown entity, but you can see there's quite a mixture of cards here. So no one is better than the other. There's not like you can't upgrade these, and you're going to have different ones every round through a drafting system. And that's the bulk of the game right there, is these comboing and creating your river of cards. So here are your kind of player boards. All right. So we have some gods here. You can see various gods. You're going to play with 3 every game, and you're just going to assign one of these gods a rune. So you could do it obvious, like Njord here could get the N rune. I don't think it really matters. Or Odin, or who is it? Frigg could get the F, and I think there's a C one. I think there's one for each color. Maybe not. Anyways, these guys simply, you're going to track how angered they are. So whoever has the highest track at the end of the game, their rune is going to be worth more than everybody else's. Also, again, we said if you raided a village, you can place it places. And this, you could place it on here. There's other places you can place it to anger him even additionally. But if you lose and you've gone into battle, you're going to get to do this action here depending on what rune you played. So if he was the sea god and you played a sea card and then lost, you would do this action here. So a variety of gods to play with. Then you are going to have, this is your rounds tracker. So there's that eagle marker, tells you how many cards you're going to be drafting each time, and how many iron it takes to raid a village, and what you can do with raided villages here as you sacrifice, some endgame scoring stuff, things like that. And then each person is going to get their own little player mat here. This is going to house your individual Vikings, boats, and temples. It tells you how much it's going to cost, what actions you need to do to get those out on the board, and this is to track your resources along the bottom. On the back side of each of these is a different AI card. So each one of these works a little bit differently. There is, one is more difficult than the other. I don't know which is which. But so 4 different types of AIs, they all play the same, but they're going to, track their resources a little differently. They're going to take their, losing actions or ruin actions a little differently, but they're always going to have one of these out, and they're still going to have one of these out like this. So that's kind of what the AI setup would look like. Last but not least of this core box here is what they claim to be the first time they've ever had a fold-out board, which I was trying to think, and I think is accurate. Usually you build out a board via the cards, and they just kind of like Tiny Epic Zombies or Tiny Epic Quest, you lay out a bunch of cards. So this is an actual, cardboardish board, chipboard board here that I'm pretty sure one side is for a certain play at 1 to 3 players, and this side is for 4 players. So there's just more space on the 4-player side. But while we're here, you can see that this is, if you control this island, you're going to get this. This rune's going to start here at the beginning of the game. If you control this island, you have this rune. If somebody takes control of it from you, they're going to take that rune. You can travel your people between these ferry lines, or you can move your boat around, pull into port places, but this is a dudes on the map area control game in Tiny Epic fashion. So that is going to do it for our core box. I wish this, the only thing I don't like about, I almost sometimes like the card system because they lay flat, but we'll see if we can get that though. Just gonna lay it up there for a hot minute. All right, let's take a look at the Shaman expansion. This is a little mini expansion which comes with the deluxe edition of the game. So it's not a component upgrade, it's just a mini expansion. So this is going to add some Shaman cards. There's a little tiny rule pamphlet here. So these cards are just more Viking cards. You can see these guys are offering double runes. Ooh. And remember, you're drafting at the beginning of the game, so you have the opportunity to choose or pass on these. A new resource to claim there, and it looks like 2 more gods. Loki, the god of mischief, and Hela, the goddess of death. 2 both very recognizable gods, so that's cool. I'm not sure whether or not you can play these 2 gods in the standard mode, or can they only be played with the Shaman expansion, but this looks pretty simple. Usually this mini expansion is just thrown in and you forget it was even a mini expansion to begin with. Alright, so all that out of the way, here we have our true expansion, Ragnarok. So I don't know quite as much about this. I know there's the frost giants. It's very thematic in the Norse mythology, but to me Ragnarok makes me think, no, it's Valhalla. Valhalla is when you die, something happens. So this is not Valhalla, this is Ragnarok. There we go. Another cool frost giant hand. Another cool box lid to go off of. We have our Ragnarok Slayers rulebook. So we've got Valkyrie tokens. We have giant tokens. 6 new god mats. Some Giant Slayer and Valkyrie Viking cards. And a whole new board. That I like. So let's see what we got here. We got some giant tokens. Screen printed, which is really nice. And they appear to have numbers on the back. Various strengths, I'm guessing, so maybe you don't quite know how strong a frost giant is until you take it on. Everybody gets what appears to be 3 Valkyrie tokens in their player color. Very nice. And man, these are really warped. I tend not to ever sleeve my Tiny Epic games because then they almost never fit back in this box. That would help these, but alright. So let's see here. I think this is the Giant Slayers. They appear to be pretty normal, except a lot of their bonus actions are probably focused on the giants. Then there's the Valkyries, who I don't know what rune action they're supposed to get, but they're pretty badass looking. So there's those. We have, again, 6 new gods to anger. So lots of god variety here. And okay, so each player gets a Valkyrie mat, and it looks like there's again a new solo mat. Wonder if this one replaces. This looks like it replaces the old ones. And this must be in addition to the other one, yeah, because there's only spots for Valkyries here. All right, now let's take a look at who the gods are that we can. He doesn't look like a god. God of beauty. Heimdall, we know him. Nana. Sigyn, Soul, and Tyre. All right, and then last but not least, hopefully, this is probably what I'm most excited about in this box, is a new map. So let's just compare the 4-player side. That's what we were looking at over there. So less islands. But I guess, you know, there is a true division here. There's some mountains that you may have to cross over. I don't know. But anyways, there you go. I do like the looks of these. I wish they would lay a little flatter, but this is a cool looking map. Just the artwork on here is nice. So, but that is going to do it for our unboxing of Tiny Epic Vikings. Both the Deluxe Edition and the Ragnarok Expansion. Coming up very soon, we'll do a how to play video on this, and then possibly a solo playthrough, depending on if there's any interest in that. So if you are interested in a playthrough video, please let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up. And if you like this content, please consider subscribing to the channel. Once again, thanks for watching. Have a great day.